Yes, indeed, class. It's time for us to taste test these root beers. We're going to put them into a tier. We're going to judge them on several different facets. We're going to do this thoroughly. We're going to do this professionally, as we always do everything. So, these are the brands that we will be taste testing today. We will be using A&W root beer, Big K root beer as a generic, the universal generic. We'll do Boylan root beer, Frosty, Mug, Barks, Gray's 1919 Faygo, Jolly Good, and Uncle Mike's Maple root beer, which had to be photoshopped in because I found this at the very last minute. So these are the brands that we're going to be using. I have a camera set up so that we can show. There we go. You'll be able to see as we taste test them. So let's get started. Let's pick out the first one. There we go. Let's get the first one out. The root beer taste test tier list. Our first one, the first root beer that we'll be testing is Mug root beer. Classic Mug root beer. Mug. Time for the taste test. First root beer on tap, Mug. Very sweet. Terra Boy has subscribed for 1 month. That is another subscription. We're going to need to update our sub list here. That means that I have to sing at least 3 songs. That means that 3 songs will have to be sung. I should drink it from a mug. I didn't want to disadvantage other root beers by drinking them in different ways. You know? Okay, so you smell. Very sweet. Very little bite. Very little tartness. But very smooth. Very smooth, a nice head on it. It would be an excellent root beer float. Root beer. Well, thank you, Random Man. Thank you. Let's see. So, Mug. It's at a disadvantage from being first, so I don't want to put it too high or too low. I'm gonna put it as a B because it's very good. Smooth. Smooth and sweet after... Very little aftertaste. Plus for floats. Price Mug is a very affordable. Very affordable. This was $2.50 per liter. Yeah, that's a solid. All right, so that's root beer number 1. Number 2 is 1919. I did have some notes about this one because you might not have heard of it. I had not heard of it before. Yeah, so 1919 goes back to 1919. And I should update my stream category. Thank you. People are going to come in for near and be like, what is this root beer stuff? Let me just change it to the root beer taste testing stream category. Yeah, so 1919 does go back to 1919. It is actually one of the original brewery-made root beers, meaning it was actually made in a brewery. They used to just make them in breweries. So let's give this a shot. Now that's interesting. Wow, that's even sweeter than mug. Oh, thank you for the stars, random man. Nearly root beer. It's nearly beer. It's near beer. Very good. This is actually very sweet. It almost tastes like it already has ice cream in it. I'm serious. It almost tastes like it's already a root beer float. Wow, that is extremely smooth, extremely sweet. Wow. It is a very decadent flavor. My goodness. So 1919, I'm gonna give it a B as well. This is probably just because I'm not... Oh, the Gaines Fairy, welcome. Thank you so much for rolling in my little classroom learning community. Great to have you with us. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give 1919 another B, mostly because I'm not the biggest on sweet root beers. But this was super sweet and very, very smooth. Very little aftertaste again, but it was sort of a dry little aftertaste. Ice creamy. It was very ice creamy. Probably, I'm gonna do it this way. Yeah, these are all non-alcoholic, just regular root beers. So yeah, so far two solid Bs. Yeah. All right, what do we have next? We have next Big K, generic grocery store brand root beer. All right. Is this a rave remix of Brotherhood opening? Yes, it is. That is exactly what is happening, Witch Hazel Hyena. This is by Astrophysics, an artist that does synthwave stuff, but did a bunch of rave type remixes of JoJo's and different other animes. Yes. I like adding these sometimes for our streams. Flamingo is just before this. Platinum Disco is up next. All right, Big K. Okay, so still fairly sweet. Not as sweet as either of the others. A little bit less pleasant of an aftertaste because it is sort of, it's got the cheap ingredients. But it wasn't unpleasant. It wasn't bad. Sweet, okay. Minimal, decent aftertaste. Nothing special about it though. It was really a big okay, yeah. Just a big okay. So if mug root beer is sort of a standard price, Big K, you can get pretty cheap. Value brand, yeah, definitely not bad. It's a solid C. Only in C tier right now because the others are so good. Frosty is up next. You might not have heard of Frosty before. Frosty goes back to 1939. I love the mascot, like an old prospector. Let's see. Yeah, you're right, Kevin. It is kind of a luxury to have the glass bottles. This is really good. Okay, so that was the first one that had some nice bite. That one did have a nice bite to it. I liked that. I'm gonna put this in an A tier. I kind of want to put this in an A tier. It still had a lot of really good sweetness. Balanced sweetness. Very balanced sweetness. It was smooth and caramely, but a pleasant... Oh! It had a pleasant bite to it. And it wasn't more expensive than the 1919. It was $4.99 for a 4-pack, so still, I mean, expensive. A luxury brand, but I like that. It was quite nice. And look at the old man. Look at the old man and his logo. Old prospector. Okay, I like that. That's Frosty. We're gonna have to go with another sort of generic. Jolly Good. You may have never heard of it. It's a Midwestern thing. Jolly Good makes a billion different flavors and all very cheap. And you can get them in those thin little cans for like 99 cents each. All right. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, now it's a little bit sweet, but it also... I gotta be honest, it kind of tastes like a regular soda. It's like they started out making cola and added a little root beer flavoring. Yeah. This is probably going to be our first D. Not because I don't like Jolly Good. It's a good, really cheap brand. But honestly, it kind of tasted not like root beer. It was a smoothish type of thing. It more cola than a root beer. It just doesn't cut the mustard as a root beer, right? Yeah, Anomalisa Keys. You do get what you pay for. It was 99 cents a can. Can't ask for that much. But now it's time for Barks. I think some of you might be fans of Barks. Some of you might be fans of Barks. I certainly am. I like Barks. So let's give it a shot. Now, of course, Barks' slogans are Barks has bite, and it's good, so high expectations. Okay. And that's that classic Barks flavor that I know and love. So Barks has to go in A tier for me. It's very root beer. It's very root beer with a sharp aftertaste, which I love. Root beers basically come in two types. There's the sharp ones and the sweet ones. And this one's definitely got the bite for it. It's got bite. RAR XD. And basically the same price as the typical mug A&W Coca-Cola type of brands. So it's an easy A tier for me. I think the Frosty is a bit more of a balanced root beer, but I just have a soft spot for Barks. All right, time for Faygo. First thing we're going to do, though, and I did not know this, but Faygo goes back to 1907. Faygo is so old that it used to be advertised on the radio. In fact, this is the advertisement for Faygo root beer.
Oh, the stagecoach was a-heading through the mountains. The stage they call the Wells Faygo Express. The cargo, so I hear, Faygo old-fashioned root beer. The tasty drink with creamy head goodness. Look out! It's a holdup! It's Black Bart!
Oh, save me! For my life, I fear!
Oh, hush up, gal. It's that famous drink I want. That case of Faygo old-fashioned root beer.
Stand where you are. Black Bart, you are through.
So the stagecoach went on heading...
Creamy head goodness.
And old Black Bart went off to jail, I hear.
The Faygo Kid. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? He went for
Now's the time for you to go for Faygo Old-Fashioned Root Beer. The big 1-liter bottle is now on sale at participating grocers.
That's a wild commercial. That's back when commercials were great. You started throwing furniture around, too much soda, too much sugar. All right, time for Faygo. Kind of sweet. Yeah, in fact, very sweet. Very sweet, but I would say, again, not quite root beery enough. Yeah, I think it would be above the generic store brand. It's a sweet, okay root beer. Minimal aftertaste, no real bite or sharpness to it. Again, nothing special, but it was okay. Price, though, can't beat that. Can't beat those prices. Really nice and cheap. All right, next is this Boylan Bottling Company. Boylan goes back till 1891. That is a really, really old root beer. I did not hear this before, but it's apparently super old, been around a long time. People must love it. Let's check it out. All right. That's interesting. Okay, so that's another that has a very sweet flavor profile, but I can tell that it's cane sugar. Even without looking at the bottle, I can tell that that's cane sugar and not artificial sweetener. It's not regular sugar. That is, without a doubt, cane sugar. It's good. And I'm going to put it probably... in high B, actually. Yeah, it's a high B. I can... Very sweet. Not very sharp, but the aftertaste, you can tell it was genuine, whatever root flavorings, herbs they use in root beer, sarsaparilla or whatever. Tasted very genuine. Cane sugar, natural cane sugar. Sassafras, yeah. Sarsaparilla. Sassafras, yes. Why did I think sarsaparilla? Is that from The Big Lebowski? Yeah. Cane sugar. Can definitely tell, but that is a very expensive root beer, and that's probably what's going to knock it down to a beat here. That's one of those you pay $2, $2.50 a bottle. Yes, that's a high B for me. And next is this one I found at the store today, last minute, so I don't even have a regular prepared picture. I just had to Photoshop something here real quick. It's called Uncle Mike's Maple Root Beer. Uncle Mike's Maple. Why do I keep saying Maple? Maple. All right, let's give this maple root beer a shot. Oh, Kevin's Gotatsu. I totally forgot. We're playing Peak Cinema. Shortly after this, I'm taking a little too long on the root beer taste testing, but I hope that's okay. Smells a little different. Okay, yeah, there it is. The aftertaste. It's maple syrup. Okay, it's another very sweet root beer. I would say it's very similar to the 1919, but with that little bit of something unique from the maple syrup. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Uncle Mike's. I don't want to do another. Yeah, it's got to be an A. I think this means that Barks has to be in the S tier then. Relative. So this is sweet but balanced. Minimal bite though. Unique aftertaste with the maple. But was $2 a bottle. Yeah. All right. This leaves us with something we have to look at. This is called Poppy. And if you haven't heard of Poppy, it's like a soda alternative. It's like soda, but made with prebiotics, apple cider vinegar. It's one of those weird sort of new, I don't want to say new age, that seems like a weird way to describe it, but it's an odd thing. I've never tried any of these before, never tried any of these flavors, but this is a root beer one, and we're going to see how it goes. All right. Okay. Okay, so I can taste the apple cider vinegar. I can actually taste it. It's not unpleasant, but it does have that little bit of a medicine-y taste to it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like one of those drink packets. You know, like you can get the little powder packet that you can mix in with a bottle of water and it gives it a soda type flavor. It's kind of like that. It also seems a little bit like a root beer or popsicle if you melted it and put it in a bottle. Yeah. Okay, so I would say this is something I could drink one can of, maybe. I think I would start to get a little bit sick of it. I would get a little bit sick of it, and it wouldn't take too long. I'm saying this is an interesting experiment. I'm not against it, but I would also not make this something I would drink regularly. This is going in D tier for me. Not because it's bad, but because it just doesn't cut the mustard to make it a real root beer. The taste is apple cider / vinegar. It tastes used almost, which is a weird way to describe it, but it tastes used. Like it was a melted root beer popsicle. Also, not root beer. And kind of on the expensive side. It does taste like a used soda. I don't know why that was the way I described it, but that's what fit. All right, so we have Gray's now. Gray's root beer is the oldest brand that we have. It's 1856. Gray's root beer goes back since before most of the states existed. Yeah, that did not spark joy at all. All right. Okay. We're back to real root beer. A fairly sweet one. Pretty smooth. Doesn't really have much of a bite or an aftertaste. And I'm not getting very strong rootiness from the root beer. Much more pleasant, I would certainly say. But I would say it's still got to be in that sort of B tier. I mean, Barks is really the S tier for me. You know, I'm going to have to bump Frosty up there because it was such a great balance. I think 1919 deserves the A. Yeah. Smooth and sweet. Tasted like genuine root beer. Not enough root, though. And again, this was a fairly expensive one, so not something I would buy regularly. And you know what? I actually did forget. I forgot to put A and W on the list. I do have A and W. Oh, thank you for the stars. And there is actually one last thing before the final taste. How could I forget that I have A and W? How could I forget classic A&W? I've actually been to the A&W stores. If you've never been there, they're fantastic. Get yourself the Frosty. Not the Frosty, the root beer float. A&W. We do have to do A&W before we do our root beer schnapps. A&W, the classic root beer float root beer. All right. Here we go. Ah, that's good. It's got some bite to it. It's still very sweet. It's got some bite though. Not as rooty as I might like, but that is a very good balance though. Yeah, I think for me, it's going to have to go into A tier. Yep. Gonna have to go into A tier. Sweet. Balanced. It has bite. Could be a little bit rooty, but it's okay. Good for floats. And of course, average price. Yeah, that's for me gonna put it into A tier. So there we go. There is our root beer tier list. We have Barks in S tier, of course. Frosty came in a very solid, very respectable second place as an S. 1919, I'd never heard of it before, but I would buy it again if it came out on sale, if I saw it at the store. Probably the sweetest one, but had a nice dryness to it, which I liked. The Uncle Mike's, I think the uniqueness really boosts it. Maybe more than it should, but I liked it. And then A&W is just a classic. Wonderfully balanced. Has just enough bite to satisfy me. The Boylan I really liked. Maybe it might deserve an A over the Uncle Mike's because of the cane sugar, but it was also the most expensive per ounce by far. Gray's deserves a solid B. Mug, solid B. Probably the best of the overly sweetened ones. And then Vago, it's okay. It's probably the best of the cheapest brands you can get. Probably better than the Jolly Good as your cheap option. And then the weird poppy, not actually soda. Yeah, that's my tier list. Yeah, it's a good idea, and I'm sure other ones might be better. I don't think it works for root beer because root beer is supposed to be different. Yeah. Good idea. I applaud their experimentation. It just didn't quite work out. Yeah, so this is our tier list. I will add the Arrow root beer schnapps shot at the end because I need to do karaoke after this, and I don't want to mess it up. So we'll do this at the very end of the stream before we get into Star Rail. Well, that's our tier list, class. Thank you so much for bearing with me as you watched me drink soda.